What is happening, good sir?
Oh, this, that, and the other.
Just a beautiful... Is it still spring? Yeah, spring. Beautiful spring day.
Yeah.
Nice outside.
June, right? Is the summer solstice?
22nd, I believe. June 22nd.
Well,
and then it all goes downhill from there.
Yeah. We really do in Canada peak early with spring.
Hey-oh. Yes, we do.
Oh, sorry, summer. Speak early with summer. Late spring's always late, summer's always done early.
It's I think it's because we look forward to it so much that as soon as we get the first stretch of nice weather, we jump right onto it, latch onto it. And then that's our thing. Right?
Kids are all about bike riding.
Yeah.
Every kid's favorite pastime, right? Hop on a bike. And
it was one of my favorite things to do as a kid, and it was almost like a sense of freedom, the closest thing you can get to freedom and independence as a kid. And it's funny you mentioned that, because this week we started to let Oliver bike to school by himself, and he's like a 5-minute bike ride from the house, so it's not a tremendous amount of distance away. But he's eating it up. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I remember those days. Now we're stuck paying bills.
Yeah.
Wishing we can get on a bike. And if we get on a bike, then we're worried about what we're going to injure. And it's the whole thing. And
oh, yeah. Like, I got a bike now. Just sitting on it, I just want to die because the seat is just like destroying my ass.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, yeah, get this new seat that you can, it's double cushion, it helps your your buttocks. And
that was never a thing before.
No, it's false advertising.
Like, when you get like a teen, I think when you're riding your bike, you hardly are ever sitting down because you're just standing up and pedaling as fast as you can to get where you're going, and just coast.
And for our weekly segment of How Old Are We?
Oh yeah,
we think about I see kids riding now with no hands on the bars, right? And they're just kind of riding their bike.
Yep,
and I'm thinking, oh my God, you're going to injure yourself. If I were to do that, I would be in bed for weeks if I were to fall. If not dead.
I was showing Summer that, like, hey, you want to see how you can ride without your hands? Like, and literally it was let go, no, put back. I go like, see, and then as soon as you saw it, it went back. Yeah.
Just to raise it up a little bit, right?
Yeah. But yeah, before you're just by your side or just like folded and you're just pedaling.
And you can go like a massive amount of distance doing that. At least I remember I could go from one end of Orleans to the other end, no issue at all. Oh, I got to make a turn? Yeah, no problem.
Oh yeah.
Just lean into it. Lean into it.
Yeah, I don't think I would even consider attempting a turn with no hands now.
No, I'd be eating dirt quicker than I have nothing, but it'd be quick. It would be quick. And I would actually be proud of myself if I actually decided to do that, because I know that it would not end well. But if I tried, maybe that's something I can.
You're just thinking of the health insurance claim for the eventual injury.
Well, we're sorry, sir. That's not covered under your health insurance.
Oh, well, were you wearing a helmet?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's that's another thing too. We didn't wear helmets back when we were kids too. Just freewheeling all the live long day.
I'm sure I had a helmet, and I'm sure I probably took it out with me when I was going, and then just tossed it in the yard, like in the hedge or something, and then off I went.
Kind of like pretending, oh yeah, I got it on, no problem.
Yeah,
and then
do up your jacket in the winter.
By the end of the summer, there's this one bush on the street with like a ton of helmets under it. It's like, oh, that's secret stash.
And then there was I can't remember who I was talking about. We're talking about like having bells and horns and sirens and all that stuff on their bike. And remember we had the Ghostbusters like Slimer one, like the horn. And then there's also one, I think it was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that had like the
what, like you'd honk it and it would make the sound.
Yeah, I think it was a McDonald's. Quick Google.
Yeah, Because all I remember having were the it was like a hockey card or a baseball card that I'd put in the spokes, or I should not in the spokes, but it'd be like by the wheel frame, and then the wheel turning would make it,
Yeah, people did that
sound.
too. I don't think I ever put.
And then there'd be
I
the
ever
beads
put
too.
that on my. Yeah, I don't think I had those either myself, but I do recall them. It's not like it. Yeah, and they would, as you would go around, they would slide down the spokes and
That'd be
just
great.
make the most like annoying noises.
Yeah, I showed the boys.
There it is. There's the siren.
Okay, yeah. It'd be
So
like
then you crank it.
Yeah, okay.
I had
one.
that. Yeah, man.
And that was pretty awesome to have back in the day when you think.
Oh
about it.
yeah.
I showed
if you
the
didn't
boys,
have that, you were nothing.
I showed the boys an old commercial for like old 3-wheelers that we used to have. Like the big one, the big wheel. It was a big wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was explaining to them that I had like the G.I. Joe one and the Knight Rider one, and there was commercials for it, and I was reliving my youth, and it was lovely. It was amazing. And I looked at the boys and they're like, "Yeah, like it's all right,
whatever."
Like, yeah. Does it have Wi-Fi? Is it Bluetooth capable? Like, no, it's not. No.
I remember that. Like, not my first car, but the second car going to pick, and there was 2 of the same make and model for the same price. And I was with my stepdad. He's the car guy, so he knew. And that's what the guy says. Yeah, well, this one, standard, whatever, but this one has Bluetooth, so you can connect to your phone. And I'm like, oh, that's obviously the way to go.
Yeah.
But then my stepdad stopped and said, but this one here, I'm pretty sure your winter tires on your current car will fit that. So then you don't have to buy, new tires, new rims, blah, blah. So I went into that one. They're like, Bluetooth. But I'm thinking now, as I've got yet another car, that was obviously the better play, because, you can get the $25 adapter to plug into the aux.
For sure. And it's still
versus
good.
The $1,200 for tires.
Yep. Smart move, sir. Smart move.
But if I can go back to the big wheel, I probably would do that.
It was amazing. On the ground, you spin your tire. You could traction going off on the big wheel, but you loved trying to make sure that you could get to where you were going. It was never a dull moment. And then you drive up to your house or whatever, your driveway, and then you'd spin out, and then you'd get out and you'd be like, "Yeah, I've got."
And
lunch,
then you do
boys. Mom's made me
the hard crusts off that PB&J. Yeah, but then you pedal super hard, and it just skids, right? Because it won't grab anything.
That's right. Yeah.
You have to do the slow start.
I'll be back out after my tomato soup.
Yeah, we're trying to explain. No, sir, go ahead.
No,
this is okay. I'll just say we explain to the kids about appointment television on Saturday mornings. That if you missed it.
Yeah.
Like if it's 8 o'clock, from 8 to I think 10. If you didn't watch those 2 hours of cartoons, you didn't have a chance of watching it again.
Before I do the intro, it's almost like punishment for us as kids in the 80s growing up with Saturday morning, because it was appointment viewing. But then on top of that, we didn't want to miss the commercials. So we were in a conundrum of like, okay, what do we give up? Do we give up the commercials with the cool toys, or do we give up the cool cartoon when we have to use the washroom or whatever, or go for seconds with cereal?
That's right.
We were faced with a dilemma. That's where my anxiety started. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Welcome to Open Collar, the podcast that keeps you updated on all the latest happenings in movies, TV, and all things geek culture. Whether you're a diehard fan or just looking to pass the time with some laughs, a few chuckles, we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a wild ride. I'm Steve. That gentleman over there is Cory, and this is episode 108 of Open Collar.
So you're still on the Oiler bandwagoning.
They're my team. They're my team. Always have been. And this here is, which way am I looking?
Other side. This is the signature. There it is.
Mark Messier, right there. The moose. The moose. For the listeners, I am showing a hat that I'm wearing with an autographed Mark Messier. That's right, because we are on YouTube and also the audio. So sucks to
At
be you if you
Overcome
don't see
Pod.
this wicked hat, but
Wicked hat.
yeah, they won last night, which I'm happy because the game before I felt they had all the momentum going into the game and then just shot the bed up 1-0, and then they just decided that was good enough and they would turn in for the night.
Yeah, I don't understand the playoffs this year because in years past, everything's been tight. But we seem to get one team blows out this team one night, and then the next team, it's reversed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every series, it seems. And I don't get it. It seems odd. Considering they always, try to spout parity in the league. I guess that is kind of parity in a way.
Yeah.
Blowouts, reverse blowouts.
I often think about this new format where you play like divisionally up until the conference finals, and then I think to myself, like, how unappealing is a game like Carolina and New Jersey, or the round before, the Islanders and Carolina, New Jersey, the Rangers. It's like it is such a boring division for me. I've got literally no interest in any of the teams, even slightly. Even if they made it to the final, I wouldn't care. Right. And I feel like very much the same with what would it be, the
Seattle and Dallas right now, right?
Yeah, and like I don't really care, right? I feel like they should be like, I guess the intent was to build rivalries and and do it that way, but let's be honest, tonight I think it's just Carolina and New Jersey. Like, unless you are a diehard hockey fan or cheer for the Hartford Whalers or cheer for those two teams, you don't give a rat's ass about the outcome of that game.
No.
Or even a fair weather fan like myself, like I wouldn't tune in because I just have there's no appeal to it.
I'm gonna ask you this: given the divisional playoff format and how we have 7 Canadian teams, 6 of which are in 2 divisions, I was thinking the other day, I think this setup is designed to handicap the Canadian teams in the playoffs every year.
I would buy that.
They obviously argue that it's not, because why wouldn't they?
But how isn't it?
You have 8 teams in the division. Top 3 teams make it, guaranteed. So right there, already less than half of the half that make it are Canadian. So let's say the top 3 teams are the Canadian teams in the East. So you would have a Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa. By the time a conference final were to happen, you were going to have one team.
Yep.
In the old top 3 for 3 divisions, top 3 seeds make it. We would have been not getting 3 of the 8 spots, but you have a better shot of making it.
Yeah.
Versus fighting for 2 of 8 if you're not in the top 3 in your division.
No, it's a good point. I mean, like, to your point with the division, it's you're guaranteed to lose 1 or 2 Canadian teams in the first round.
Yep. And the only way you can do it is if you are second or third.
Right.
Second or third, one of those teams. First can be the second team, and you are not getting let's say Toronto was in the Boston spot, so they were first. So they would have the second wildcard spot. So if Ottawa finished in the first wildcard spot, therefore 7th place, facing the second team. So it all has to land a certain way in order for 3 teams to make it to the second. But even then, you're still going to lose somebody, maybe down to 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Come to the conference, which is no different than if you finish all top 3 in the same division.
I'm going to pull a quote from our good friend Clark W. Griswold and say, it was my understanding there would be no math in this podcast.
Or Mike Myers and Austin Powers. Oh, no, I've gone cross-eyed.
I've gone cross-eyed. Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to see a Canadian team win, but I just, like, the odds are not in our favor. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah. No, may your first child be a masculine child. 7 of 32. So right there, 25 other teams are going to be the ones that have the better shot, and especially come the playoff time.
And I don't think they would ever reconsider reshuffling the format or the divisions anytime soon, because it's only been 3 or 4 years since they've aligned those divisions as they are. Or am I wrong? 3-4 years.
It's
gotta be.
something like that. I think once Vegas joined the talk of Vegas coming in, they rejigged it all.
Okay, so then that would be 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, 5 years, 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Redonkulous.
Where do we start?
Well, let's get the music going. We'll save. That's Ghostbusters.
Recall.
I watched
you
Renfield.
saw this. Okay.
I watched Renfield. It's one of two. Again, I don't know why, but the horror theme just keeps on trucking with me as of late. But this one is more of a comedy. I watched it at home.
Oh, right. Yes.
So Renfield, starring Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage. Sorry, Nick fucking Cage to be more precise.
Cage.
So it's kind of, I think they said it conceived as like a sequel to Dracula from like the 30s. But it's everyone knows Renfield is like the butler type servant to Dracula, and this horror comedy is basically Renfield is tired of basically doing that for a living and kind of joins a support group of some folks, but he's kind of his original plan is go to the support group and then start poaching people from that group to obviously feed Dracula, because he's gotta Dracula's gotta eat, right?
As you would.
So in the support group, he learns obviously there's people who are, stand up for yourself and yada yada yada, and hilarity ensues. It is extremely violent. I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers for it, but it is more violent than it needed to be.
Okay.
Like, there's a scene where, throughout all this, Renfield gets entangled with like a gang, like a mafioso type gang type thing, turf war, and they end up partnering up with Dracula. So I know they end up going. He gets an apartment, so they end up going to get Renfield, and so a fight ensues. But like he is ripping arms off people and throwing them into other people, and
oh wow,
yeah, it was very, very over the top, but still fucking Nick Cage, man. So it was.
So is he supposed to be a man out of time in this movie, or?
Yeah, because it's him after hundreds and hundreds of years serving Dracula.
That he breaks off
he wants
modern times. Okay.
Yeah, he wants to, move on from that and better himself.
I'm always cautious with Nick Cage, because obviously he had that stretch of massive A-lister success with Face Off, and Con Air, and The Rock, and like so many other things. And then it got to a point where he was just taking every script that he could get his hands on, which led
and he's admitted to that. Like he said, he had bills to pay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was like bills, and he had a massive debt from like comic book collecting, perhaps even. But so having said that, because of the amount of movies that he's put out, and I feel like he's tamed it a little bit.
Yeah, he's dialed it back a bit.
He's dialed it back a bit. But does it sour the appetite of watching him in movies because of how much he was putting out?
So like, do we like keep him in movie jail because he needed to pay some bills?
No, I feel like he needs, like, he needs like a one breakout role. And I feel like he's gone so long with so many movies that he's been kind of trapped in that,
Okay.
in that in that ditch. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but he just hasn't had a breakout role that really shows his range in very long. Maybe there was that mark up another example of a movie that Steve started to watch and didn't finish, but there was that one
The
where he
Unbearable
played.
Weight of Massive Talent.
That's right. Yeah. Like that started off pretty good. So
Yeah, that kind of ignited a bit of a cage of songs, as it were, but not anything big. Like I think what after that it's kind of been this. He did Spider Noir and Spider Verse, and then now Renfield and whatever else comes his way. But nothing like explode.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It seems to made some money. Like it wasn't big box office smash, but then again, it was opening up against some.
I really like one of my favorite movies from him is Con Air, and it's on AMC. It's on TV at least once every few months.
Yeah, buddy and I were going at. We're like, what's better? Like you like The Rock, Face Off. You go Face Off,
mm-hmm.
and then Face Off, Con Air, and depending on the person, it's either Con Air or it's Face Off, but they're up there.
Yeah, and both are like stacked with supporting actors to Nicolas Cage, like John Travolta and John Malkovich. But I would say in Con Air, there's even additional.
Sean Connery, man.
Sean
Connery, Ed Harris.
Oh right, okay. It's been a minute since I've watched The Rock.
It's like Michael Bay's. Like that put him on the map.
Oh yeah, that was Michael Bay. Yeah, I knew that.
That was before Michael Bay was very Michael Bay.
I can't remember.
It still had the slow motion. It still had.
Okay, I was gonna ask you that. Did he have the slow motion?
Oh yeah, it still it's in there, but it's not like Transformers Michael Bay where he's at peak Bay.
Hot girls just standing there, running away from people in high heels, not busting your ankles, but able to do it, no problem.
That's right. Everybody was all sweaty all the time.
All the time. Like, God, put on some deodorant, people. Grab a rag, wipe yourself.
It's got to be like they got Axe body spray. It's got to be a huge sponsor of Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
And the next one was Evil Dead Rise, which is another reboot to the Evil Dead franchise. I love Evil Dead movies. You ever see the OG, like where they made with like for $20?
No. No.
It's one of those things where they made Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell, directed by Sam Raimi, and then they did a sequel, which effectively was a remake, but it's still called Evil Dead 2. And then obviously Army of Darkness. And then 2013, 2014, they did a reboot. And then now this is another one. And also the Evil Dead TV series, which I also enjoyed. But I enjoyed this. I like people killing Deadites, so this was fun for me.
I saw the Bruce Campbell. It's Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell, right?
Yeah.
I saw parts of the first movie, but I mean, I didn't finish it, and it hasn't been in recent memory where I remember what it was about. I just remember he had the chainsaw, which I thought was pretty cool. But the gore and everything after that, I was like, no.
He losing an arm and he replaced the chainsaw is the way to go.
Hold up. Is that the same girl that's in Smile?
It is not, but I knew you were going to go with that when I grabbed this image. It does look like the exact same poster.
Gonna haunt my dreams tonight.
So this story tells they're children. It's a mom in this one.
Oh God.
So this one doesn't take place in a cabin in the woods like the previous Evil Deads. This is the entity, or the Deadites as they call them in the series. Evil finds this mother in a apartment complex and things go south. But yeah, fucking you talk about gore, this one's got it. So if you're a gore fan, I highly recommend.
It's not Sam Raimi that's done this, is it?
No, I just producer on it because he produced all the Evil Deads and directed the first 3.
And is that a newer movie, or has that been out for a while?
This just came out. And it was in theaters this year. It was supposed to be an HBO Max exclusive, but test audiences loved it, so they released it theatrically. And I think it's just come out now on VOD.
Yeah, you have those followers that like that, gluttons for
I like,
punishment.
I like the franchise, so I'll watch it. I'll give it a
How
a
long
watch.
is this? How long is this horror kick going to go on for? Might need to.
That
move
seems
it
to be what's
Steve
coming
goes
out
to
as
the
of late.
movies for the
It
more
seems to be
lighter
what's
touch.
It seems to be what's been coming out as of late, so that's what I've been
Yeah.
catching up on. I do have some more non-horror things to catch up. Like I haven't watched the Tetris flick yet. No, it was on Apple TV Plus. What else? What
Are
else
you
is in my
watching?
queue?
Are you watching Ted Lasso?
I have not got into Ted Lasso.
Have you tried, or you just haven't gotten into it?
I have not tried.
Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing.
That's what everyone says. And when people tell me something's good, I then tend to say, you know what? No, let me judge
You're
for
a
myself
liar.
when everybody forgets about it.
Wait, hold on. It's horrible. It's so shitty. It's not even worth it.
No, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons is another one I might check out.
Yeah, I want to see
Now
that
that's
one.
it. And Paint, the Owen Wilson, what's his face? The painter guy. Name escapes me at the moment.
Pablo.
No, you know, the
Picasso.
Bob Ross.
Oh, Bob Ross.
He's like a Bob Ross type, PBS type painter. It's supposed to be a comedy. I don't know if it's good, but we'll find out.
Very soothing voice. This is how you do the. This is how you do the trees and
your little friend, the trees.
I actually got I received a Bob Ross board game for Christmas. Oh, yeah? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's still in the wrapper, but I was like, this is cool. Like, I don't know how to play this, but we will eventually get around to it. We have our core games that we tend to play, but I have a Bob Ross game that's just waiting to be cracked open.
Is Clue one of them?
I don't have Clue, actually. No.
Just watch the movie instead.
Yeah, our go-tos are Cards Against Humanity, Shit Happens, Golf, which is a card game, and Balderdash is another one. Love Balderdash, and 5 Crowns. That's kind of our go-to.
So I heard there's no Monopoly, there's no Mousetrap.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about like games I'm allowed to play because no one in this household. But we have Monopoly. But will anyone play with me?
No. Like Monopoly was designed to tear families apart.
For sure, it was
the sole reason it was invented.
That's why those videos you see on YouTube of kids having meltdowns because their parents are making them pay tax is a good life lesson.
I cannot, for the life of me, think of a time in my life where we sat down, family board game night, play Monopoly, and there wasn't a fight.
For sure.
And I don't know if it's because either, younger sister in mathematics or the fact that it just takes so fucking long to play it.
Yeah,
and
it's like it's a slow poke.
Yeah.
It's a slow poke. And then fights over like, really, you're going to put a red hotel? Do you need a hotel? Well, yeah, I do because I want to take your money. And then they're bankrupt, so you start making deals and then you start fleecing them for the deals because they're hard on.
Yeah, and then it's you're helping her win and you're helping him win. And
you get to the point where you're just flushed with cash and they're bankrupt and you're like, I'll give you Baltic Avenue for your boardwalk or Park Place. And they take it because they have no choice. And then next round they're gone. And they're crying about like, why'd you do this? It's like, it's all part of the game, baby. Monopoly.
It's Monopoly. That's right.
Have you not seen Succession? Yeah.
Well, not in the 90s when I was a child.
No, tears families apart, as you said. Monopoly. Parker Brothers.
Yeah. See, they knew.
They knew they're onto something. It should be Parker Brother. Parker Brother.
All right, I gotta jump into a quick commercial, then we go to geek news because I know we're gonna be spending most of our time talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go.
I'd like to meet you, but I'll bet you're hoping for a hunk. And all I've got to offer is sensitivity, intelligence, and charm.
I'm drinking milk, though, and for the next couple seasons, I'll be working out. Milk's about the best thing I can drink right now to help me build strong arms,
powerful legs, and a broad chest. And when all my work is done, will you love me just for my body?
I can live with that.
Milk, it does a body good.
Sorry,
I
what
drink
was
a-
the commercial about?
I drink a lot of milk, and that's never happened to me.
No.
Damn dairy farmers.
Yeah. I heard a kid and some teenagers and young adults talking about something, but I wasn't paying attention. It's good.
Yeah,
though.
I was trying to figure out who the girl was. I'm like, is that
I
Pam?
thought it was Kathy Ireland too. I had an
Yeah, I couldn't
enormous
figure it out.
crush on when I was younger. Kathy
Is it
Ireland.
because of Loaded Weapon?
No, it was because I forget who gave it to me, but I was given her Sports Illustrated swimsuit calendar, and it was the best thing ever. The best thing ever. And then
Wore that thing out.
Also, Unnecessary Roughness. She was in that movie.
Oh yes.
That comedy. I can't remember. Was it Jason Bateman? I could be wrong. I'm not sure. But yeah, she was my gal growing up. Kathy Ireland.
Yeah, I just remember National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon.
Yeah, don't remember her in that.
No, she was like did the Sharon Stone spoof from Basic Instinct.
Okay, I'm starting to
It's
remember.
Emilio and Sam Jackson. For those uninitiated, it's the Lethal Weapon spoof movie.
Those are great though. Naked Guns, and I've been seeing a lot of videos. For some reason, the algorithms got me with 80s videos, and
Nice.
for some reason, Naked Gun clips. And Leslie Nielsen was hilarious in those movies.
Airplane,
It makes me,
everything.
yeah, it makes me want to rewatch them, and I'm because I don't remember all of the movies vividly. I don't know if I can watch it with Oliver, but I feel like there's certain parts of that movie that are not.
Hey, that's Enrico Palazzo.
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
Nothing to see here, and the whole like fireworks and shit's going on.
Yeah, and then but there's the one too where they're at the baseball stadium, and then a fight breaks out, and then it's just like all the baseball like players on the teams on each team just like going bodies flying everywhere. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I rewatched those because I watched Police Squad.
Okay.
Which is obviously what those movies spun out of.
Mm-hmm.
And
how recently?
I'd say calendar year, probably like early January.
So are they kid friendly?
Like
preteen friendly?
Yeah, like you know your kid. Like there's nothing that's like it's smart humor. Like this is back when spoofing was smart, like highbrow.
Yeah.
Like most, it comes at you so quick you don't pick up on it.
Yeah.
It's not like a scary movie spoof, like R-rated.
There's a it's got me thinking. Jade and I did attempt to watch the first one, the first Naked Gun, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and then there's a scene in the first Naked Gun where they're walking along a pier along the beach.
Yeah.
And something happens where some guy gets blown up or something like that. But you saying that made me remember saying to her that it's funny because it happens in rapid succession of one another. Like the jokes just keep, like the beats keep going, the jokes keep coming at you. If you miss it, you miss it.
It's PG-13, so like it's not.
Okay. Yeah, is that like 80s PG-13 or this generation's PG-13?
1988. So there's a lot of sexual references. Oh, there is some nudity.
Okay.
But yeah, mild comic violence. Mild language.
I'm all right with that.
Just cover your eyes. Earmuffs.
Sign me up.
Earmuffs, kids.
As Vince Vaughn would say.
That's a good movie. Old school.
Great
Geek
movie.
news. Before we go into the movie, there's some things that I saw that I wanted to briefly go over. First one. If this damn slideshow, boom, we might have a Johnny Cage for the
I saw that.
Karl Urban.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you
I don't
think?
know. I don't know. I feel like Karl Urban has become this
Like the go-to for
the
adaptations?
go-to for fanboy related properties, fangirls, fan people related properties, but
Fan persons.
fan person related properties. But he's like he got there to that point too late. Like it would be great if this was like 20 years ago. Because and I'll get to Johnny Cage in a minute, but even like not so long ago, there was talk about him being casted as Wolverine to replace Hugh Jackman. It's like, well, what's the point? I mean, he's in his mid 40s. You can't anticipate him to be why you even change from Hugh Jackman at that point.
Like he's already been Bones in Star Trek, right?
Yeah, and
Judge
it was
Dredd.
great. Yeah, he was in Lord of the Rings. He was in The Boys. Judge Dredd, to your point. Johnny Cage, I don't know because Johnny Cage is supposed to be that Hollywood actor that's in his prime, right? Mid 20s, early 30s,
mid to late 40s. You're looking at downward trajectory.
Yeah,
type star. Maybe that's what they're going for.
Unless they take that angle, right? Like he's a washed up, or not as relevant Hollywood actor that's trying to make a name for himself, like an old martial artist that was popular at some point in time, but that those days have gone by. And
I feel as though there's a lot of actors they could hire that are literally in that position,
rekindle in that position. But why does the Johnny Cage figure on the right have Reed Richards' hair?
I think that's pulled from one of the latest video games.
Is it really? Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I don't know. I've saw the article, copied the image.
Listen, if there's one thing that Karl Urban has, it's charisma, and it's like I can see him playing the character of Johnny Cage, much like I can see him playing the character of anything, because he's a really good actor. But for me, it's I just don't know if he can pull it off from his age and whatnot. I don't know.
So the writer strike's happening in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Blade once again delayed. They've paused production on top of this is the second or third time. First, I think they lost a director, and then there was maybe some scouting issues or something with filming locations.
Is
this movie ever going to come out?
It's got to be at least 3 times. Like I definitely more than 2 for sure. I can't remember his name. I don't want to butcher it, but
Mahershala Ali.
Like screw it. Like I'm done. Honestly, like what? Like he should just move on to something else, because I mean, we talked about this so many times, but it's like this is is this story tied to the larger MCU vision? And if it is, well, then it's pooch, because you've got to rejig things, and if you rejig things, then other things don't make sense, and it just doesn't. It starts the house of cards starts to come apart.
Right.
But I think also was Captain America 4 not also impacted? Like there's a lot of things that are impacted by the writer's strike. Like SNL is impacted.
They started filming. I think production. Because I was reading a thread on Twitter, and someone was talking about like why all these productions that are in like filming and whatnot, like why they're paused now. And someone said, what most people don't know is that there's always a writer on set, because if you show up, it's day of the shoot, they have this building that they can use for so many hours. They get there, they start to light it, it doesn't look right. Someone's got to someone's got to rejig the scene, and that's obviously gonna be a writer, right? Or it starts raining, so maybe this happens, or they realize this place is too small, they can't fit the equipment in, therefore they got to rejig the scene again. So that's why there's usually constant rewrites, not to the extent what Marvel does, really change shit on the fly. But if you show up and we can't shoot this now because what we thought was going to work is not going to work for what we have, shot listed for the day. We got to write it, and someone's in a union that's now on strike.
I guess maybe with Blade, the reason why that was front and center in the news is because, here's yet another example of, or another reason why this movie is not coming out or delayed.
But you fear with, again, now that we said this is at least the third time, that if it's troubled this much, is the end result going to be worth it? Like they had somebody lined up to direct it, they go to start working on it, and the person backs out, and then now other things and other things. If it's troubled from the start, could that just mean a troubled?
Yeah, it's cursed. Did they feel the need though to see it through because he had a voiceover scene at the end of Eternals? Like, or can you like write your way out of that?
Write your way out of that.
Yeah, you probably could.
It's like, oh, it was somebody else that was talking.
It was Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
with the sword. Yeah.
It's just in his head.
Yeah, and I mean, for me also, like I have very minimal interest in Blade. Always have. So for me, it's like if it doesn't get made, who gives a shit? But if it slows down other things, if it doesn't advance the story, like for me, it's all about advancing the story now. Let's just advance the story. And this is not helping in any way. Does it prevent Black Knight? Because I feel what's the Jon Snow? What's his real name? Kit Harington.
Yeah.
Like his portrayal of Black Knight was really interesting in Eternals. So I would like to see maybe that is not going to happen, or it will be delayed because he will be involved with Blade. And for that reason, it'd suck. But aside from that, like, no, I'm good. Just bring in Renfield. Just insert Renfield into the story. Come on.
Nicholas Holt's already been in X-Men.
Yeah, and that's Beast, is it not? Is it Beast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So look at that. It's Beast and Ghost Rider.
Just say it's alternate Earth.
So they're variants.
Sorry, no, this is variants. Yeah. The timelines. What are we? We timelines in the MCU, or is it Earths?
I don't think they even know. Honestly, I don't.
It's like DC's always talking about fucking Earth 2 and shit, so can't remember which one it is. Okay, so before we get into Guardians, Will Poulter, Adam Warlock, I saw this was said that he was once approached in a bathroom by a fan who said they recognized him from Toy Story. And he said, I was like, how do I explain that the character, they thought he was Sid.
Okay.
So how do I explain that?
Looks just like him.
That's an animated movie, and I am a real person.
Was this a bathroom at a bar where there was obviously more than the legal limit of alcohol that was served?
Somebody obviously had to not know that this three-dimensional real person is not a three-dimensional animated character from a movie in 1996.
Oh, cross-eyed. Hey, yeah, you were amazing in Toy Story. No.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you as you zip up and try and leave quickly and quietly.
How old is he? Would he have been even?
Oh,
like
maybe like 2?
2 or 3?
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3. Yeah. What's his name in real life?
Will Poulter. From
Poulter.
We Are the Millers.
Oh yeah, No Regrets. I mean, she didn't do No Regrets, but from that movie, it's a great movie.
Seems to be the only line people remember that movie. That's No Regrets.
That's the okay.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that movie. That was a good movie. That was a great movie.
All right, and then the last bit of just filler here is I saw somebody posted
I've seen this so many times. I love it.
The MCU was in the 90s, who would play what? And I don't think there is an out of place casting if you look at it. So we have Brad Pitt as Captain America.
Yeah.
John Stamos as Winter Soldier.
For sure.
Sam Wilson, the Falcon, Eddie Murphy. Scarlet Witch, Alicia Silverstone. Christian Slater for Hawkeye. Matthew Broderick for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man, Tom Cruise. That was actually going to happen. Yeah. Same with Spider-Man, Leo DiCaprio. Mila Jovovich for Black Widow. Denzel Black Panther. Ethan Hawke, Vision, War Machine, Cuba Gooding Jr., Thor, Dolph Lundgren, David Duchovny is the Hulk, Keanu Reeves, Doctor Strange, Keith David, Nick Fury. That's a great casting right there. Gary Oldman, Loki, Thanos, Ron Perlman. Like, fuck, they should have done that anyway. Star-Lord, Brendan Fraser, Gamora, Halle Berry, Nebula, Demi Moore. I love the idea of Joe Pesci as Rocket Raccoon. Arnold is Drax, and Mantis, Winona Ryder.
Yeah, like the one that for me is Brendan Fraser as Star-Lord. I think he'd be perfect.
Oh yeah,
coming hot off the heels of Encino Man would have been great. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Drax. I mean, I just don't know if his accent would get in the way. But I mean, from a physique perspective, for sure. Who's Cuba Gooding Jr.? War Machine. Okay.
Rhodey.
Yeah. Rhodey. Yeah, I can. Man, yeah. Every single one of these.
They're just
Dolph Lundgren too. He's like 6'5". Like it'd be great.
Fucking. He already was Prince Adam.
You know what? You mark my words. In 10 years' time, ChatGPT will be able to make a movie of the Avengers with all of these characters at this age. For sure.
Yeah.
And then we will thank our overlords for providing us with this movie. No, it's to your point, spot on. Almost every single one of them. Yeah, like I said, the only one for me is Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that's me.
Why did they not just say, "Hey, Ron, you want to be Thanos"? Nothing against Brolin, but fucking Hellboy. He could have done.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got the jawline.
Just throw some makeup on. Yeah, he's perfect.
Yeah, you know what? You don't have to have the.
Make his
makeup effects.
Paint Hellboy purple, and you're good to go.
I saw an article, and I meant to send this to you, and I may have, but I think I might have forgotten. And they were just talking about some actors that could. Sorry, was this the last of the geek news?
Before we go into the
okay, so they were just naming a couple of options for who might be able to replace or who should replace Jonathan Majors should he be exited from the role of Kang the Conqueror. The first one was Aldous Hodge, who played Hawkman in Black Adam. Okay. But I don't think you've seen Black Adam, right?
No, I haven't, but I know who he is, yeah.
Okay, so they're suggesting him. Another one was John Boyega, which I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like he might be too short. I mean, you could always put him on a milk crate and it's fine. It's no big deal. But
Tom Cruise keeps getting movies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but John Boyega was another one. Now I started watching The Handmaid's Tale, so I haven't seen it through, but I believe it was the main actress's husband, Odie Fag Benley. I don't. That's O.T. Fag Benley. Anyway, he played the Handmaid's Tale's main actress, the girl from Mad Men, her husband.
Okay.
O.T. Fag Benny. And then the last one is Damson Idris, younger brother of. No, never mind. Don't know who this guy is. He was in a few Black Mirror episodes. Anyway, but yeah, they might have to start thinking about that recast, right? Of this list, I would say just having seen Black Adam, Aldous Hodge would be pretty good. He's tall. Yeah. He's built. He had good range in that movie, and you can translate that over to Marvel. So, just something that I saw.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do. They don't even know what they're gonna do.
No, I was just gonna say they don't know. They don't even know. They'll just avoid it. Maybe it'll all go away.
I think that's the hope. The hope is that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's the way you should think of things. I think
right.
But like, it's 2023 now. Are they reining in the whole cancel people like that without should they be?
Yeah.
I guess that's where your allegiances lie now, right?
100%. This is the world we live in.
That's right.
All
we
right.
can do is live. All right. Before we talk, let's do our thing and watch a quick clip of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 before we discuss.
I look around at us on May 5th. You know what I
After
see?
May 5th.
Family.
I love you all.
Saying goodbye. It's time. Is a-hole. Lot of fun.
It's the end of the road, Guardians.
That is sad.
You know what's sad? People on Earth die when they're like 50.
Are you about to die?
I'm not 50. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Rated PG-13. Only in theaters May 5th.
Only in theaters May 5th.
PG-13, eh? Interesting.
Yeah. Does it feel like it? Almost like a smut film?
Yeah. Okay, so I took some notes. Spoilers.
Oh.
Should say that.
Spoil the fuck out of it.
Spoiling the fuck out of it. So before we get into specifics, I will say that I really enjoyed this movie for reasons that we'll get into. But my quick intro to my review is that it was a lot of fun. It was exactly what I would expect from a trilogy that was wrapping up. There was a lot of range in terms of emotions as well as visual effects. Like, it was a beautiful movie. There were some curveballs that I was not expecting. And I would say, yeah, it was an otherwise refreshing movie to see in a string of movies that were lackluster, to say the best. I was thinking back to the overall trilogy, and I thought about, the teaser for Volume 1, if you remember, was the police lineup with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then there was that clip by Stanley with the C. What a bunch of assholes. And I thought that was probably one of the most brilliant moves you could make, definitely in the MCU, but you could argue it in all of movies, because if you think about it, they were using that to set up the franchise that at the time was considered, C-list. No one knew who Groot was. No one knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. Even fanboys at the time, fangirls, fan people, were thinking like, oh, that's an interesting move going with Guardians of the Galaxy. So you even had your own fan base worrying about the success that movie or that franchise can bring. So I felt like James Gunn really hit it out of the park with that teaser, just making it in such a way that, you're moving it away from the fact that they're D-listers, and you're actually putting your own little spin and your own little stamp on it. Another thing that I noticed was tonally very different. You think back to like Volume 1, it was Hooked on a Feeling by Redbone, very fast, very happy. They then dial that up with Volume 2 as the intro song with Mr. Blue Sky and ELO. But then this one is Creep by Radiohead, which is a complete reverse course on how they normally, or how they've treated the trilogy. And the last thing I'll say before we kind of get into some things was that I felt like James Gunn really pulled no punches when it came to making this movie, based off of a lot of decisions that he made. We'll talk a bit about like the fact that this movie isn't made for kids, the fact that Adam Warlock was what he was, or Adam Warlock, the language, some of the decisions that James Gunn made. To me, anyway, watching it was almost like his little big FU to Marvel, and in some cases the fans. making the movie that he wants to make, and that's it. Doesn't care what anybody says. So,
yeah. Have you seen his like takes and responses to people who have like any sort of criticism?
Yeah, no, he just goes.
It's a little much. Like,
no, I will say like
take a criticism, dude.
Like Adam Warlock. I think the fact that we did spoilers, so that's fine. When we were first introduced to Adam Warlock in the movie, I was immediately taken out of that character because I was like, this is not who he's supposed to be in the movie, or if like he's not this is not who he's supposed to be based off of the character that's in the comic books. He's made to be the perfect man, and he came in like a bumbling idiot at times. But then when it was explained that he was brought out of the cocoon early, so he didn't have enough time to develop and mature, I was like, okay, I can buy that. And I was okay with that character moving forward. But I feel like James Gunn made him that way, almost as like like F you, like you've all been wanting this and like clamoring for it since the end of volume 2, that what, I'm not going to give you what you wanted. I'm just going to
kind of like what Raimi did with Venom in Spider-Man 3. Y'all want him, well, here he is, now he's dead.
Yeah But that, like,
25 minutes of screen time.
That was just him saying, like, this is, you guys wanted them so much. Well, here's my version of him. But he did it in such a way that it didn't ruin the character. He just took you out of the character, I guess.
So it's like, here's your character, and then 10, 15 years from now, then you'll get the version that you want.
Yeah, and I think the last thing was the fact that they were very successful in pulling on the emotional strings, almost with every character. I feel like Groot was probably the one character that they didn't pay that much attention to, but I'm okay with that because volume 2 was pretty much all about Groot, for the most part. Like, he was the main focus, but every you almost went through the ebbs and flows of each of the characters throughout the movie. If you think of, like, Rocket Raccoon and what happened with him, and then Mantis, and then Drax and Nebula and Gamora, and all the characters, you actually got to experience an emotional roller coaster with each of them. And then I'll get into a bit of some other stuff, but I will pass it over to you and let you give your thoughts.
It was okay. I think there's a far better movie in there if James Gunn wasn't being James Gunn.
Yeah.
Like, again, we're gonna get into later, but we've I think talked about it before, not to keep running that thing into around. We've established that death means nothing now in the MCU after Endgame. So the constant death fake outs throughout this movie really, to me, just like, oh, they're gonna do this. No, wait, no, they didn't. Oh, they're gonna. Oh, wait, no, they didn't. Oh, no, okay.
James Gunn giving
right,
a
but
dig.
It's just like, and we talked about it with the trailers. Like, they literally marketed like, this is probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And swerve here, swerve there, and we get the ending that we get. I'll start with the things I liked though. I thought High Evolutionary was amazing.
Unbelievable.
For a character I know nothing about.
Yeah.
I was with it. I will say one thing I would have liked, even if it was just acknowledged in the slightest. I know, like, we love the Joker, the Dark Knight, because Agent of Chaos, he's fucked up. But why is he fucked up? We don't really know, but he kind of explains does this because this is what he likes. I would have liked a bit to find out why. What was his motive? Like, we know his motivation is to create the perfect society, the perfect everything.
Perfect species, yeah.
It's perfect species, but why? Like, I think I've read somewhere in the comics, like, he's doing it because, like, it happened to him. Like, that's, I think, the character in the comics. Like, he was experimented on, so then he does that. So maybe there's a scene that got cut or something. It didn't irk me that much, but I would have liked to know what the overall motivation behind this was.
Yeah, he was amazing. Like even when he was smiling, it freaked you out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And there was that scene where he was, petting Rocket and explaining to him like what his vision was, and you're like, oh, there's a bit of good in him, or like there's a bit of redeeming qualities in him, and then just completely.
Yeah, like the one scene that freaked me out too
that.
is like when he's on the bridge with Rocket explaining everything, and it looks like like they're bonding, and like there's like he seems to enjoy Rocket, seems to like Rocket, has an attachment to him, and then like when he pets him, he's like looks like he's squeezing his skull, and it's like you think he likes, but then you can see like all he cares about is what's in his head. He doesn't care about him at all.
Yeah, and
then obviously it progresses throughout. The backstory for Rocket, I was for that too. It would have been nice if it was less like coma thinking, because he's out of the movie throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I think they could have done this better by having this movie as the second one and the second one as the third one. I'll give you my reasoning for why when we get into the actual story of it. It specifically has to do with the third act and how things end. And I thought Rocket Car would have been better served having that earlier and then to what we got. I don't know. I didn't mind Mantis in Volume 2. I did not care for it in the holiday special, and I really didn't care one way or the other what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
I kind of do agree with the creator of the character. I don't know what James Gunn's thinking is of changing her that much and making her that way. Like, she doesn't really, to me, serve much of a purpose, or just a means to an end to help with whatever the story needed. Like, oh, we need this person to stop. So, well, we got Mantis. She can control them with her empathy, right?
Yeah,
she's empathic. Like, to me, that's like with when those monsters show up in the third act.
Obelisk or Obelisk.
Yeah, Obelisk. There's like a bunch of them. Like, oh, this is the end of them. No, she can talk to them, and it's all cool. I did. I know, like when I was rewatching the movies, I know these guys, they're assholes because they just fucking kill people, no questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
So that like third act fight scene where they're taking everybody out, which obviously designed for like the splash page, right, look of everybody. I think these are just some motherfuckers that have no shame in killing people, and they're supposed to be the heroes in the Marvel grand scheme of things. In the story, they're not. Like, really, they're just people that are trying to survive, right?
Might be one of the best fight sequences in the MCU in quite a long time.
I know the shots of Rocket and like in that fight sequence, like look just like you could have. It looks like it's just drawn from like the book.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But yeah.
I found it to be like. Do we want to tell like what the story is? Do you want to explain?
Sure. Well, that doesn't really give much away. The story is the origins of Rocket for the most part. He's during a fight with Adam Warlock, Rocket gets basically taken out, and the only way to save him is to basically dig into his past, right?
And it's a race against time.
Race against time. He's got 2 days, and yet somehow there's traveling through space and various other things that seemingly I think would take probably about a week and a half.
No, for sure. Hyper jumps, baby, hyper jumps.
Oh, and the F-bomb.
Yeah,
completely unnecessary.
That's another example of him just saying, "Screw it, I'm just going to do the movie I want to do."
Like, he did have that interview saying, like, to Kevin Feige, like Feige says to him, "You don't want to be like known as the first guy to do it," and he's like, "Yes, I do," and then just.
Well, then he pieces out, and he's never.
I feel as though, like, if for Quill to say open the fucking door, to me, that sequence should have went longer, and it should have been agitated.
Yes.
But it didn't happen. It was just
it was very,
press this button and open the fucking door.
Very fleeting.
Yeah.
I found the movie to be just a tad bit too long, especially when they went to the sphincter corporate headquarters.
A lot of that seemed like that you could.
And they just basically went in there for the MacGuffin to grab it, and like I don't know if we need to spend that much time on there.
It seemed like
Nathan
written to include his friends.
Yeah, and like there was a lot of that, right? Like, and Nathan Fillion, his part was cool. Like the joke was the joke of him saying like, "Oh, I've got one too," and like pointing to the idiots in his crew.
Yeah.
I thought was funny, and it didn't get old on me because he used it maybe only 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was funny. But yeah, you're right. It was just to include him and like James Gunn's wife, who was the person that was taken hostage. Did we need to spend what felt like half an hour there? I don't think we needed to. I would have rather spent more time on Counter Earth to explore more of the more of that world. And okay, like we understand that he's experimented on these animals and they've created their own civilization, but like let's dig a bit deeper into the belly of that world.
And all we got was them driving through town, right?
That's
and
it.
Seeing
and
like the mugging, seeing the drug deal.
That's right.
And that's it.
And that would have been much more interesting to spend a little time there. But yeah, I was happy with the movie. I felt like after the movie was over, I was thinking to myself, okay, are they going to, and we've talked about this many times, like how are they going to advance the story? And they did nothing. Like he did nothing to advance the story. Like this is just his own little sandbox story trilogy that he created. But Marvel has made 3 or 4 properties that were tied to the cosmic world. So like you had Thor, you have the Marvels, you have the Eternals, you have this trilogy. And in those 7 movies, 6 or 7 movies, they've really done nothing to explore space and like the cosmos and open up the door to future stories or whatnot.
Which ironically was what they wanted James Gunn to do before he got fired.
I would say that the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy was very successful in terms of taking you to different worlds and like showing you different species and spending time on those worlds. But like that was successful. But in terms of like developing the story and like having callbacks and advancing it, like there just wasn't there for me.
Yeah, they could have done a lot of like we have Xandar in Volume 1, right? Oh, it's the Nova Corps, so Nova's established. They easily could have done that with every planet they went to. Maybe not showing like Silver Surfer, but this is where he's from, or da 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 da. Just the nods to know that exists in the grand universe of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, they mentioned Wakanda in a movie. Oh, shit, Wakanda. They mentioned vibranium. They mentioned adamantium. Even if you don't see it, it's there.
So I was just thinking about this, that, I explained that I initially had a problem with Adam Warlock, but then I was okay with the decision that they took, and I was on board from there.
I was curious what you would have thought of Adam Warlock, because I'm like, this is not Adam Warlock.
No, I was completely I was completely out of it until his mother, I can't remember her name, Aisha said, you took him out of the cocoon too early. He's not matured. And I was like, okay, that's a very reasonable, suggestion as to the reason why he's like this. Okay, I'm good. But every time I watched him, I kept thinking about Superman 4 Quest for Peace and how much he reminded me of what would be the villain's name in Quest for Peace, like the Sunman or Rayman or the guy that would scratch. I
want to say Meteor Man.
Meteor Man, maybe.
I don't think it is though. Hello,
but
Google.
I don't know why it reminded, because obviously in Superman 4, like he didn't have the gold hair, but just something about the character made me constantly think
Nuclear Man
made me constantly think of Nuclear Man. And at times it was almost taking me up, but then I was like, okay, no. Like, just, it's Marvel. I I mean, just the hair, like the hair was just I couldn't get over the hair.
And why is everybody in space? I know it's the same argument I have with Star Wars British.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Sovereign's British, High Evolutionary's British, Adam Warlock's, I guess, well, he's sovereign too, so he's British.
And then you got Rocket.
Jude Law, fucking Marvel's British.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all British. It's the universal language.
I guess. But the other issue too, and I've had this with the first one through this one, the running gag of people from not Earth not knowing that he's a raccoon, but know every other fucking mammal and calling him that. Oh, we got to save the hedgehog. Got to save the fucking squirrel. Got to.
Yeah.
If they know those, they should know what a raccoon is.
Yeah.
Like, that's part about me. Like, is calling him Rocket Raccoon a name he had to earn over 3 movies? For the big thing is, I'm Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, we know this.
Yeah.
You know this because this is what you were told when you fucking met Pete in the first movie when he called you a raccoon.
You know this. Yeah.
So I guess it's the big reveal that he's now accepted that's what he is, I guess. But to me, that I was like, what? Like this big thing. 3 movies. Him go, yeah, I'm Rocket.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. Like the fact that, oh, it's a hedgehog. It's like, how would Drax know what a hedgehog is? Or whatever the case might be.
Or like, and then they've been getting together for like 10 years. Pete go like, this is like, here, let me show you in this Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah. This is what a raccoon is. That's what you look like. You're a raccoon. And then they all would have said it.
I did like how they wrapped up the story for every character. You know, like Nebula, you know, is now part of a family which she's always longed for. You know, Peter, you know, reunited with his Earth family. Rocket became the captain that he always wanted to be. Drax, you know, became the father that he always wanted to be, or, you know, was, but then got robbed from it. Mantis, you know, found, you know, I don't know how I would say Mantis, but she's gone out and explored.
She's trying to find herself, right?
She's going to find herself. The only thing about Drax was I found it a bit of a convenient, like a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing of, oh, you just randomly know the language of these kids conveniently in this situation to speak to them and know what they're trying to say and save them. It's like how convenient of a situation is that where you know the language that they're speaking. Aside from that, though, it was all right. We did see, though, that there's going to be, I guess, a new team.
I guess that was James Gunn's way of saying, hey, so I'm leaving, but now you guys can still use them for Secret Wars.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with. Like, so you have Drax, you have Rocket, obviously, you have Adam Warlock, you have Cosmo, you have what's the whistle? What's his name? Krieger?
Kraglin,
and then Phyla Bell. So you got a nice little team there.
And just fucking giant Groot.
And Groot. Giant Groot. So why did it take him so long to grow up when he was like little baby Groot? And then in this movie, he got his head blown off and he looked like one of those aliens.
It's called plot device.
Right. Okay. The good old PD.
Yeah.
The good old
It's convenient when it needs to be. Just like how Yondu fucking died in space within seconds, and yet Pete died, and yet it still came back.
And where was his mask? Again, another plot device for him to be like
that. Was actually asked James Gunn. Apparently, James Gunn didn't like the idea of in number 2. He wrote it that his mask got broken in his fight with Ego. Ergo, we had to use that device. Yondu had to use it on him. On Pete to save him. And then in Infinity War, he had a mask, which anyone would say, well, fuck, he made a new one because that's what you do. He's in space. This, he said, because of the rush to save Rocket, he left all his stuff.
But they were wearing new outfits like that. They were.
That's what the argument that people made after. They got new clothes.
Yeah. and pulled right from the Dan Abnett and Greg Lanning.
Too bad he couldn't wear his mask and then in this movie don the helmet.
Oh, it'd been
Actually
amazing.
have the classic look, but
Yeah.
he didn't do it.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone made like the OG Guardians of the Galaxies made a show for himself. What did you think of Gamora in this movie?
Sorry, I had no problem with it.
I felt like she's acting like she's trying a little too hard to be the anti-Gamora. Do you know what I mean?
But I got that.
Yeah. I don't know. Because if you think back, like even like she was never that evil when she was serving Thanos. And she like kind of like
she wanted she wanted out, right? She was doing it because she had to do it. She was working with Ronan, but she didn't really want to do it.
And she had some kindness in her heart, which I guess she did in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but
that was over time, and seeing like that was like the interactions with those guys is what kind of warmed her heart, I guess.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it too. Like they weren't a couple in 1, they weren't a couple in 2. They were a couple in like the 6 minutes in Infinity War before she passed.
They were a couple in 2. I'd say
there was that unspoken thing, right?
Yeah,
is what they say at the very end. So, like, I wasn't really hung up on the idea of okay, like from a viewer perspective, yeah, we wanted them together. We liked that they were seemingly together, but they were never really together to warrant this huge, like, drinking himself to death.
Yeah.
So which to my point, which is why I thought if they would have reversed the movies, like I would have thought since Pete goes home to see his grandpa, if they would have had Yondu pass this one, to me that would have been a stronger trigger for him to go home to see his family, because now he lost his mom, he lost his dad, surrogate dad. So let's go back to meet family versus he lost his mom, he leaves the planet, he loses Yondu in 2, he then almost slews people in 3. Now he's going home.
But maybe the fact that he almost lost his best friends after losing the 2 people was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, I look at it as he didn't think he had a dad until he realized his dad was Yondu all along. And now he lost him, but he has basically a grandfather at home that he can go back to. And I don't know. To me, that's how I would have done it. Just for that perspective, the storyline. Like you could have kept everything the same, just put Yondu in 3 versus the one little scene that he had.
Yeah. Again, just making sure that Gunn's friends were thrown into that movie.
It's true, man. He knows how to do it. He's already admitted that somebody from that movie is going to be in his Superman. Guarantee it's his wife.
What about Michael Rooker as
Luthor? He's bald.
He's bald, yeah. He's a little too rough around the edges, though. Was the big security guard that Mantis said that the big security guard at the Sphincter corporate office that Mantis said that you're in love with Drax? Is he one of James Gunn's buddies too? Like, was he in Suicide Squad?
Like he uses everyone. Like Floor was a friend of his too. Like
who?
One who voiced Floor, the rabbit.
Okay.
She's a friend of his too.
Look at that, though. Hey, let's see. I would expect if my friend
a lot of filmmakers do it. Like, fuck, that's like Kevin Smith 101.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Take a page from Smith books, the View Askew universe.
That's right.
That's where it all started. What would you give it? What's our? Are we mics? Are we 5 stars or what are we?
If you're going 5 stars, 3.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna say
I will say this.
4.
I was checking the time a few times. Going, how much time's left in this?
I didn't have to go to the bathroom once during the movie.
Either did I, but I was just like, this has got to be wrapping up soon.
That was a big win for me. Mind you, when the trailers first started, I went to the bathroom. I was like, get out, whatever's in there. I can't remember what the secret scenes were.
Oh yeah, that was another thing I was going to complain about. But this is a Marvel as a whole. The
Okay.
stingers, I will give you the first one as a possible continuation of your story, a little nod to what you have going on, like, or even like have something during the credits, like what you did with the second one or in the first one. But if I'm staying to the end, you're telling me what's going on with the next movie.
Yeah.
Because how many in a row have we had where the stingers are just stupid little easily deleted scenes for the one that you just saw?
Okay, so yeah, the first one was when they revealed the new team. Okay, and then the second
Which again,
one,
you could have done that during the like musical interlude that you're doing anyway, like what you did in the first one, like when you're like do the credits and like you're cutting with the scene that's going on. He did that with the first two, like dancing Groot, babies like stick Groot in the first one, and then they did like Kraglin fucking around with the dirt in this second movie.
Oh, and then the Watchers and
yeah,
one of them too. I can't remember.
So then, like, why couldn't you just throw in a fucking scene from the Marvels? Like, it doesn't even have. It could be like part of the opening. Nothing important. Like we had with which was it even? No, it wasn't Guardians. We had like the one little scene from Winter Soldier and the end of one of them. Maybe it was like one of the Thors.
Oh, the earlier TV shows or movies were great with that. Like if you think about when they went to the armory,
Collector,
the armory in Asgard, and they showed it was the
it was Thor: Dark World. One of them was the dropping off the fucking ether to
or the most. I guess the most infamous one was the one where Coulson found Mjolnir in the desert.
Yeah, it was at the end of Captain America.
And that was like, holy shit. It's happening. It's really happening. Now it's, Fruit Loops, reading the newspaper, talking about
cut the grass.
Talking about mowing the lawn.
And that was
what Marvel's doing. They're mowing our lawn.
Just to say that the legendary Star-Lord will return. That's the other thing. Could you, since we know Secret Wars is coming and that's what they're doing, and we're dealing with different Earths and multiverse and stuff, could he not have killed them off and had somebody else come back as those characters? Because half the cast said they're not going to do anymore
until they get paid millions and millions and millions and millions and millions.
Well, according to James Gunn himself, Zoe Saldana said after the second movie she didn't want to do anymore. He was going to kill her off until Marvel said, "Can we do it in a different movie?"
Oh, okay. Yeah. So why'd she come back for the third one then?
I'm sure it was a contract. Because now she says she's done. And fucking, I don't even think Dave Bautista was promoting because he said he was done with Marvel after they fired Gunn. He wanted out of his contract.
Man, could you imagine if this was in the 50s? Those actors would be tied to Disney for life. Life.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 17.
Yeah, that's when the studio owned you.
Go to
the studio owned you back then.
That's right.
But now Marvel doesn't do those contracts anymore. It's kind of, we'll use it in this movie. You want to come back?
Until they back up the Brinks. Maybe they just, entice them to come for one last
ride
where they just kill everybody off in Secret Wars and then they just relaunch the whole universe.
What is your feeling on the soundtrack this go around, since it's a mix of everything?
It was okay. Space Hog
didn't hit like the other ones, eh?
No, it definitely didn't. But In the Meantime by Space Hog is one of my favorite songs. It's one of my favorite songs because I think about, like, it's a song that takes me right back to the 90s, right back to my teenage years. So I like that song, but yeah, it was very all over the place. Where I found, like, with the other two, there's almost like there's purpose behind the songs, and I couldn't really find the purpose for most of the songs that were used in the
You didn't like the This Is the Day when everyone showed up?
Yeah. You know what? Dada, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just listening to a song of theirs a few weeks ago with my in-laws because Dada, I believe, is English. What's the name of the song?
This is the day.
I'll have to have a listen after. But yeah, overall, it didn't excite me as the other
That's
two
the
did.
problem with the Zune, man. It was too recent.
Yeah. Can you believe
They should have said they found a Discman with a burned disc on it.
Well, that would have been awesome.
Because then you could have got, more 90s stuff in it.
And then, throw in the joke of how it keeps skipping because when they're fighting or they're trying to fly away in the spaceship, it keeps skipping because of the bouncing around. Like that's a perfect opportunity that they missed.
I also found too with the music, unlike the other ones where like the music was playing, this one, like they were kind of out of the way to have the song play and then they'll get Pete's attention. He takes his earbuds out and the song stops.
Yeah.
Why? And then everything seems to be wired into everything. So people are singing the songs now. Is it because it's a Zune? You're able to tap into alien technology? Like I said, Rocket's sitting there singing Creep because it's over the speakers, but it's somehow being played on the Zune.
It's got me thinking, the popularity of this franchise. Obviously, there's a resurgence in some of the music choices that were used for the movie, but God, it would have been awesome if there was a bit of a resurgence on Walkmans and cassettes. Hey, we're gonna reintroduce cassettes, or make a limited edition Guardians of the Galaxy cassette playlist.
Well,
with,
they didn't say
Walkman. I would have totally bought that.
Some companies partnering with Microsoft to 3D print a Zune, but they're going to use it send up to the space station or something like that. That's not the same. Why not just do a limited run of Guardians branded Zunes, sell 1,000 of them or something?
Because that would just be too easy, Corey.
Here's what you do. You print off specially designed or specially marked or whatever you want to call it, Guardians Zunes, and you donate the proceeds to PETA.
Oh, perfect. You've thought about this, sir.
It just hit me now.
Did it really? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Why not?
You're not just a pretty face. Right?
Not today.
Not today. No, that would have been good, but no, they won't do that.
No. Although, you see, PETA's saying it's a masterpiece for animal rights.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it really though?
Call
just
it a win
because
for
of
you.
what the last 5 minutes of the movie when they, when he has all the raccoons coming all over him and he saves the animals. I mean, yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh.
No one was, testing makeup on anybody.
Wow, there you go. That is a win for sure. Way to go,
Instead,
PETA.
they were dissecting and removing limbs and
creating Tim Burton-esque animals.
Yeah, like Toy Story.
Yeah, it really
With
was.
Sid's, see, it goes right back to Toy Story. Sid's
It goes around.
Mutated toys.
So Guardians of the Galaxy. The trilogy is wrapped up. What's up next with Marvel? Is it Secret Invasion?
Yes.
And then Marvels? And
unless
then God knows what else.
Somehow slip another movie in there, TV show in there before the year's out.
So when is Secret Invasion in June?
June, so a couple weeks.
Okay, I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
but I mean,
seems to be shaping up.
I am happy that we're starting to really feel the effects of the movies slowing down or the property slowing down and not being thrown in our face. It's kind of refreshing. Because we had Guardians.
Well, that
of the
was a Disney
Galaxy.
Plus of it all, right? Because we had a break because of COVID, and then WandaVision came out, and then we had Captain America, and then it was Black Widow, and we had Loki.
But the movies, there was always about 3 or 4 movies a year, and so far this year we've had Quantumania, we have Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we have the Marvels. There's your 3 movies. We have Secret
Last
Invasion.
fall we had Black Panther.
Last fall that was last year though. We'll say
okay.
that was last year. Then we have for the TV show Secret Invasion, which I don't think any other TV show is coming out. So 4 properties a year is good on average, once every 3 months. Quick maths. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
1 or 2.
Because there was a point where it was like, oh shit, okay, we've got Scarlet Witch, and then fast follow with Loki, and then fast follow with Cap and Winter Soldier, and fast follow with whatever movie at the time.
You're like,
yeah.
And like, these are not that good.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh God. Have you finished it? No. Are you going to? I don't know. So
it's like, oh, Miss Marvel, this looks cute. Oh, wait, after the first episode, I've lost interest.
Yeah, I just basically told Oliver, just tell me what happens with the rest of the episodes, because he watched it. And I was like,
the first one was like, oh, this is who she is. And then fast forward, oh, she's a mutant. Season's over.
That's right.
That's all he needed to know.
I said to Oliver, give me the Cole's notes. What's a Cole's notes? Nothing. Because if you find out, then you'll use it in the future. Nothing. It's the guy's name, Cole.
Yeah, he took some notes.
He took some notes.
So it's a way of note taking.
Yeah, he was a very good friend of mine. Took notes in high school. Anyway.
Let's move on. So, last episode's homework. We said maybe we'll try to redeem something that was shitty. And you said you had at the time something right away.
Yeah, and I changed course.
Surprisingly, I did too.
And it's not a movie. It's
a
TV show. And it's not shitty to me. I love the TV show. I've watched it from season 2, and it's on season, what is it now? Season 44. That being Survivor on CBS. Absolutely love the show. And I feel like people that watch it now are people that have been watching it for a while. Very rarely will you get someone that's like, oh, I've never heard of the show, or I've never watched it, I'm going to jump on board. But I absolutely love Survivor, because it is the great social experiment, I guess you could say, where you
thought America was a great social experiment.
That's yes, it was. Still is. Outcome yet
to be determined.
To TBD. But I every Wednesday, it's something I look forward to during the season on Wednesday nights, where they do different competitions. There's a lot of there's a lot of manipulation and distrust and lies and whatnot, which it doesn't sound like it's fun to watch, but it really is. And when you start thinking about the fact that these contestants go 29 days without having a solid meal plan or keeping up with their nutrients and whatnot, you can start to see the effect of that in their decision making and them overreacting, over the smallest thing. But it's because they're so hungry and tired. The challenges are great. There is one challenge that they got rid of, maybe like 10 seasons ago or so, maybe even more. But they used to have a food challenge that was local to the country that they were playing in. And it was like delicacies, and it was just like, eyeballs of lizards and shit like that. And it was just amazing to watch them, react and see if they could actually throw it down without bringing it back up. But they don't do that anymore. There are times where I feel like it takes me out of the game, because I feel like they take the opportunity to push agendas than focus on the gameplay. So that takes me out, but it's not too bad. But yeah, that was like kind of my pivot, because I watched it. Obviously, we missed last week, but the week before, thought about it, and I was like, yeah. Every time I ask someone if they watch Survivor, they either watch it and have been watching it since the beginning or close to the beginning, or they have zero interest or dislike it. And so there's kind of that one or the other. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try and redeem it for the people that are listening or watching that don't like it. Perhaps yourself, I don't know. But it is appointment viewing every Wednesday night.
I saw the first one when it first started, which everybody did, right?
I didn't. That was the only one I didn't see.
Oh. Yeah. All right. So I watched the first one like everybody but you did. And then after that, I'm like, it's the same thing. So
It's not though. Yeah, I mean, it's not. They have competitions and
Conceptually,
challenges.
it's the same thing. It is
Yeah.
3 people on an island.
But you get such a wide variety of contestants at play coming from different walks of life, different attitudes, different beliefs, like different ways of dealing with pressure and whatnot. Where it's just like a melting pot of, the social,
All I'll say is,
experiment.
too, have they done a season where they're in bikinis and it's cold, like there's snow?
No, that would be
Then
amazing.
it's the same thing.
Be amazing. Although they have it's Alone. Have you ever seen the show Alone? The reality
I've seen
show
the
Alone?
commercial for this season, and it
That's
drives me
amazing.
nuts.
It's amazing.
This guy
That's
freaking about a fucking bear that's 40 yards away, so he's got to kill it. I'm like, why?
that's but that's that one. Not to spend too much time on Alone, but if you haven't seen it, watch it. Where you're basically dropped in a location, and the name of the game is there's 10 people that are dropped in different locations, 5 to 7 kilometers from one another, and you just got to last the longest. And the record was 103 days, and this is like fall into winter. And
Here's my question: how early did the other ones tap out?
The quickest I've seen someone tap out, which is
I mean, if this guy went 100 and some odd days, where everyone else tapped out the day before, or
there was a
weeks
couple
before?
that
I was
lasted
gonna say,
a few
because if
days
this guy went on for 10 days after someone quit out, why not just say, hey, they're all quit, you already won?
Because they wanted to see how far he could push it. I think the one that before him was 90, 98 or 99 days. So he was going for the record. But the quickest one was maybe an hour, 2 hours. And it's funny because they would give video, they would show you of the contestant life at home. And this guy was like, I'm not scared of bears. Bears should be scared of me. If they come after me, they better watch out, kind of thing. And they drop him off the helicopter, and he sees bear scat, and he sees the bear walking. He's like, that's it, I'm out. Called right away. So
I wouldn't even got off the plane. I'm like, you know what? Change my mind.
Corey's just holding on to the seat.
No!
No. Yeah.
I don't want to be outside.
So what's your redeem a shitty movie?
Keeping in line with our superhero things, I decided after watching The Mist, I'm going to watch Tom Jane's Punisher. It is such a bad movie. Everything about that movie is terrible.
But it's so good.
I don't know why I love it so much.
Yeah.
The acting is bad. You can tell that they lost their budget probably very early on, because they're in downtown Tampa and there are no other cars.
Yeah. Yeah. Empty streets.
The set pieces are small. The supporting cast is just horrendous. But it is such a great movie.
The John Travolta's son is Hayden Christensen's double.
Yeah.
Double.
And that kid played two roles, and he was terrible in both of them.
Did he play 2 roles in the movie?
Yeah, well, he's got twin boys, so they use the same actor for both.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's one way to shave down costs.
I think the most they spent on was Travolta's. Even that wasn't a bit of that was a fight scene, but the death was off camera.
Cool, that was pretty cool though. Just the sheer size of
Kevin
the
Nash
Russian
versus Tom James.
Yeah, it was really good. And then I also, for some reason, really really liked his car. So it got ruined when he was going away from the other bounty hunter, the one with the guitar or whatnot. But
Hector Heck.
Yeah, but I kept on thinking of that car. It's it reminded me of Tango and Cash's souped up truck that they had in that movie. And and for whatever reason I loved it. But you're right, I never realized the empty sets until said it.
There's nobody there.
Yeah.
He's in a diner, nobody's in the diner.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just him and then the supporting characters, the 2 guys that live in the apartment building and Rebecca Romaine. Yeah. And then the guy comes in, plays a song, leaves, and he gets in his car. There's no other cars. He's sitting at a bridge, and the bridge opens up.
John Pinette's one of them.
Yes.
The
I think it's
larger guy.
Bumbo, right? Of course, they give him some fat guy name.
Yeah. He's no longer with us, but yeah,
No,
he
he's
was
not.
funny.
Oh yeah,
He's-
I've seen him a bunch of times on Just for Laughs.
The Free Willy speech. He's known for
Yeah.
that. Even the piece, the part where he steals all the money and he blows it up and it's flying out of the
the office building.
the office building, and
But even then, like when he's in the lobby, there's two people. It's him and two people.
oh my god, it's
Like,
so true.
He takes nobody out because there's no one to take out.
That's so funny.
I think the most populated part of that movie is either when they're at the family reunion in Puerto Rico on the beach and the people are getting killed, or just the street of cars parked and nobody else blocking the street except for like the wife.
Even when he bugs the wife's car,
yeah,
he goes up into the valet and it's like there's no one there.
Yeah.
It's like the restaurant closed 3 hours ago. Oh,
but yeah, there's a, and then like the fights, the end where he takes out John Travolta's character, like the really horrible CGI that's involved with having all the cars blow up to show the skull, and like having Travolta like getting pulled by the car on fire, and you can see that like nothing is adding up. It's just digital fire added to his body that's clearly not burning. And they're on the like it's a shot that's on him longer than it should have been. Just they should have spent money on the graphics, but obviously they didn't. And then like the last shot of the movie, it's him on a bridge with the car, nobody else.
Yeah, my God, yeah, that's so true.
But again, like I've seen that movie probably like 20, 30 times, and I'm never not entertained.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies where it's on, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll watch it. Or if
and like I get that he's grieving the loss of his family, but like his acting is so wooden in that movie. Like just every line is delivered with no emotion.
Yeah.
Even lines that are supposed to be. You can tell that he's trying, but it's just not coming out.
You can't do it. Oh, good old Frank Castle.
Francis Castle.
So
makes you very appreciative of John Barathol.
That movie would have come out what then in 2004? 2004.
I remember I saw it in the theater. I did a double feature. I saw that and Kill Bill Volume 2.
Oh, there you go.
I liked them both, but I did find that one again more enjoyable from a just like
that's a great selection, Corey. I feel like I should not for the
for sure.
Punisher. Damn. And here I am talking about fucking CBS's Survivor.
Props to Probst.
That's goddamn. Yeah. Oh,
I'll write that down. There's your episode title. Props to Probst.
Write that down.
I need paper. I got a receipt here. All right. Yeah.
Well,
now for the next week's, what are we gonna do? Let you think of something this time.
Yeah. Let's go with
I'll write that down too so I don't forget.
Let's go with our top 5 80s soundtracks.
Okay. 80s soundtracks.
Or no, scratch that, revise that. We'll go top 5 80s movies. Not full soundtracks, but like songs. That's what we'll do. Boom. Live. We just did this live, folks.
So it has to be
just
a
a song
from like the song that the movie's known for, or just a song that makes you think of the movie, or
so like
just
Eye of the Tiger.
A movie that has like a great song.
It could be both. And I think we can just preface it by
we're not talking like Footloose and Footloose.
No, I mean you could do
that's
like
just too on the nose.
It is a bit too on the nose, but you could say like you're the best around for Karate Kid. You could do, but it's got to be in the 80s. So yeah, your top 5 songs from 80s movies that bring you right
notable
back
notable
there
songs.
You go. There you go. I like that. Let's do that. I can make a list like nobody's business.
Yeah, I was just
when
gonna
it
say,
comes
but
to
it can't be like, it's a popular song that but it was also in a movie. It's a notable scene for it. Movies kind of got to be. It's got to take you back to the movie.
Yeah, it's got to be, and like we're talking deep cuts here.
Okay, we're not talking Bat Dance.
No. Oh, that's a good one though. It's a good one though.
Because
Yeah,
they won't take anyone back that the theme song would.
Yeah.
Oh no, that museum scene. Like if I said that song, that would take you back to Batman. But not everybody would get that one.
I've got a few already. I'm not going to say anything.
No, that's what the next episode is for.
That's right. We're gonna there we go. So follow us socially on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Open Collar Pod.
That's us.
That's it.
That's all.
Episode 108 in the can.
It's in the toilet?
It's in the can. It's in the toilet. Flush it. Flush it. Bag it and tag it. All the other.
That's right.
All the other, ways you can say it. What's a wrap? I don't know. Hey, I had an outro. What was my outro? Let's see if I can pull it up. I'll do this.
Do this. Or we could just say that's Open Collar for this week.
Open Collar for this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Come back next week.
And now, Feel Good Feldman.
Mommy, I'm thirsty.
Hello. We'd like your family to taste lemonade flavor high C drink mix.
Who are you?
Oh, boy.
That sure looks tasty.
Oh, boy. Come on, Mom. I'm thirsty.
This tastes like homemade lemonade. It's the delicious taste of high C in a powder. Bye-bye.
Gee, thanks, mister.
I said, you know how good